In this video, we're going to look at just the if statements and some of the pop-up loops and pop-up options, pop-up notices, sorry, they're called, and how they can be used to develop a more complicated system. It's not really a tutorial, it's just to kind of show you a couple of things that's been done here. So again, I'm developing on in the basic example that I'm trying to put together. If we looked at the waypoints before, basically what's happening here is this robot is collecting from a conveyor back behind it. It'll get red or black pieces. If it gets a particular color, say the red color, it's going to pack them over here, and then eventually if it gets a black color, it's going to go to a machine over on the other side and then get packed in a different location. So you'll see this example kind of building up as we go along. But what I want to show you is just the use of some of the if statements here, and then again the use of the if statement when it comes down to having packed our full 16 pieces. So the first thing we're just going to look at is the if statement with some of the sensors. So again, the I/O, will talk about them in a separate video, but what I have is I've got a color sensor and a part sensor that's going to give me information. So basically what that's telling me is if I twist this around to the side, that when we get parts, so parts are being fed down here, red or black, they'll stop in a position and we'll have a sensor that tells us when a part is there, and then we have another sensor to try and pick up on the color. So you can see here from this if statement I've put in, I'm basically saying, right, well, first of all, I'm waiting before we move the robot down. So if we look at just the graphics, so you'll see that was the home position. It's moved around. Before it goes down, it waits for the sensor to come high. Okay, so that's just a wait on our set commands, and then it will decide what color it is. So basically we're checking here, we're doing an if statement, so we add in the if statements from our advanced structure tabs. Okay, and we add them in, and basically what we're doing is we develop a bit of a script here, and we can use our inputs. That's what we're doing. So our color sensor, so we're saying if the color sensor says we select them, we'll pop it in. We're saying if it's equal to true and the part sensor is equal to true, that lets me know we have a red part. So I do an assignment here, I'll talk about that in a wee bit later. The other one is, well, if the color sensor is false and there is a part there, well then it's a black part, because the color sensor is only picking up on the red. Okay, so that's my if statement. And depending on that if statement, I'm going to do basically put them in different locations. If we go to our graphics, so if it's red, I'm going to come around here. If it's black, I'm going to maybe come around to this other side. So what I've done then, just accompanying the if statement, is I've done an assignment. So again, within the structure, we've got an assignment. We've just created a variable. We've called it color, and then we're assigning a number to that color, which is basically just saying, we're saying 1 represents red colors, 2 represents black colors. So you'll see down here, all this palletizing sequence is for if we have this one color. So if color equals 1, so basically if color equals red, it's just being represented by a number, we're going to do this palletizing function. If it's not, we're going to do something else. So you'll see I'll eventually have another if statement down below. If color equals to 2, we're going to do something different. So that's how we're building up the system with our variables, with our if statements, and then essentially just with my palletizing. So we've gone through the palletizing, it's going to do 16, and just once we've fully filled the 16 positions, it's just going to give us a pop-up, which basically tells the user, go ahead, empty this tray, put in a new tray, and then press OK. It will reset the count back to 0, and it'll allow us to loop around. So that's just kind of showing you the use of the if statements. So we've if there, we've also the else if. So again, just on the command, you can then add in an else if or an else, whatever you want to do, whatever makes sense for the solution. And yeah, that's how we're using a variable, assigned it with a different number, which is going to represent a different chunk of our code. So you'll see here, if color equals to 1, we're going to do this. If color equals to 2, we're going to do something different down below here. So that's just a little bit on the if statements and the pop-ups. You'll see it working a bit better when we show you a little bit of the I/O and how to simulate it all together. Okay.